Hello everybody! I have really been into letter writing lately. I've gotten a few pen pals and I've started writing more to family and friends, and I wanted to share with you an example of one of the letters I'm writing. So I'm currently preparing a letter for my cousin Madeline, and I thought it would be a great idea to share it with you and show you what I do. First of all, I want to show you what I use. So far, at the moment, my favorite stationery is from paper stores, the ones in the back of the store that is like tons of different colors and you can not ever choose enough because there's just so many good colors. This is kind of like a yellowish off-white, a warm white. I love this one. It goes well with all of my inks. I like that it's white so I can use absolutely anything, but I like keeping it in the warm tones, but there's just so many to choose from in paper stores. And aside from that, all of the rest of the materials are basically the same materials I use for journaling. So I basically take a journaling approach to my letter writing. You'll see how my style in this letter will look very, very similar to my style in my journal with me's. It is overall a very similar approach. I basically pick a theme and a color palette and use torn paper and stamping and fountain pens and everything I like to use. I want the overall theme of this particular letter to look very autumnal and cozy and warm and kind of like a way that makes you want to sip on some hot chocolate or coffee or tea or something like that. I'm using some washi tape. I love that washi tape, the one with the pumpkins. I actually also got that in paper stores. I wish this video was sponsored by paper stores. It would make so much sense. It is not. But yes, the pumpkin washi tape is from paper stores. I'm slightly obsessed with it and it's very seasonal. So I'm using it as much as I can for now because then it's just gonna not make any sense in any spread. I'm very excited to use these new stamps that I got. There was a sale at Michael's, by the way. The stamps were like $2, a bunch of them. And a lot of them included just holiday themed and sort of autumn and Halloween themed stamps. I got this pumpkin along with some other ones that you'll probably see in either some future videos or Instagram posts or something. When I got them, I showed my cousin a picture of the new stamps and she loved the pumpkin. So of course I wanted to include a little pumpkin in her card. Then finally, it's time to actually write the letter. I am using my new Faber-Castell Loom fountain pen, which, by the way, it is not overrated. It is as amazing as everybody says. This nib is extremely smooth. I have it in a fine because I wanted to get one that I can use on a daily basis on any paper pretty much, and I'm in love with it. And as for the ink, I'm using the Diatramentis Ochre Yellow, which I got a sample of, and it's really great. It's a really great color. Let's see. It's not really yellow, first of all. I don't know why it's kind of ochre, just not yellow. It's definitely more of an orange. It's basically orange, like a rusty orange ink. That's how I would describe it. And then after the letter is done, it's time to decorate the envelope. I also got these frame stamps recently at Michael's. I'm using the biggest one for the packet. It was a packet that comes with 3, one inside the other, smaller to biggest. So I'm using this just to frame the delivery address, which of course I'm not going to show for privacy purposes, but you can imagine where the address goes, especially with this frame. I do kind of wish I had used a smaller one. I thought the middle size would be too small to fit her name and calligraphy and the address, but actually looking at it now, especially because I don't necessarily put addresses in calligraphy, I just really do the name in calligraphy, I think it's too much space, but it's okay, still looks good. I think I'm just gonna change that or try it out with a smaller one for future letters. Then for the calligraphy, I am using my Leonard manuscript nib in a 1.5, I think, the size, and then just with a stamp standard pen holder. And then for the ink, it is the Rohr & Klinger sketch inks. This one in particular is called Carmen. They name all of them with female names. And it's basically a mustardy yellow. Not really mustardy, it's more like an orangey yellow. But if you were to blend it with a brush or something, it would look more yellow, more like a golden yellow. This ink is actually supposed to be fountain pen ink. That's what it says in the bottle. But honestly, I don't think it performs very well in a fountain pen. I put it in my Conklin with a Goulet nib, my Conklin Durograph pen, and it just doesn't flow very well, to be honest. So I was a little disappointed at first, but then it actually does perform very well with dip pens. So I'm not mad at it anymore. I'll just use it as a dip pen ink. And it's not like it clogs the pen. It didn't clog the pen. It's just when it's unused for even a few hours and you pick it back up and you try it out, it's as if you had left the pen uncapped. It just has a very hard start every time and it takes a few strokes to get it going. And then for this one last step, I like adding extra things in my envelopes that I think the person will enjoy. Some flat stationery, so for example like stickers or washi tape samples or maybe a stencil or something like that. Little things that will not add to the weight or the cost necessarily of the envelope, or even if it does, it's not like just an extra stamp, it's not a big deal. Basically a little extra detail that I think the person will enjoy. And because Madeline expressed that she liked this pumpkin stamp, I thought it would be nice for her to have samples of it to use in her own thing. Of course, I can't send her the whole stamp, but I can stamp it out in different colors for her and cut it out, and then she can kind of use it as a die cut or put glue on the back and use it as a sticker, whatever she wants to do. She has this couple of pumpkins to play around with. And then I will also be adding some other die cuts that I have from this pack that I sometimes use with floral rectangular die cuts. I think, again, it's something that I think she'll enjoy and could use it for something, so I'm just adding a couple to the envelope. Then finally, in order to not disturb what I already did in the front of the envelope, I'm putting my return address on the back, but I'm using the same ink, this time though with a glass dip pen. I got this little glass dip pen this year in the Renaissance Fair, so I don't really know what the brand is for it, but I know there's a bunch of brands that do glass dip pens. J.R. Bond does it, and I can't think of any else off the top of my head, but I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find a bunch of stuff. So that's basically it. Subscribe if you like this kind of artsy, journaly type of videos. We do a lot of that here, so I think there's some other videos that you might like. And if you do pen pals and happy mail, let me know what you do differently. I would love to get new ideas, so please let me know. And have a fantastic day. Bye!